Now as we have created our first servlet, now it is time to extract the data that some client is sending from maybe some website or web application. So we have created our servlet which is on server. You can see here that our servlet, we can create multiple servlet like this, which is inside our Java file, servlet1.java. We can create servlet2.java and extra. Servlet is just an Java file that is extending or implementing the interfaces or classes of the servlet interface. So we have servlet inside server, and all this is on server machine where we are going to deploy our website or web application. For instance, this server machine is our local laptop or local computer on which you are running this server. So now let's see how to extract data that some client is sending from their web browser like this. In order to do so, we have some methods in servlet interface, but here we are not implementing servlet interface. We are extending HTTP servlet, which is extending generic servlet, and generic servlet is implementing servlet interface. So in last, those methods which is inside servlet interface is going to come down in this servlet one last. So what are those methods? We have three methods there in servlet interface. First one is init method. You can see we are getting override annotation, which means it is getting overridden from the superclass. Right here we have first one. The second method is service method. And the third method is destroy method. We are getting override annotation, which means it is getting extended from the superclass. So these three methods are also known as life cycle method of servlet. Life cycle methods of servlet. So now it is time to extract the data that some client is sending. But how can a client send a data? When you are creating a web application or a website which client is going to access, suppose there is abc.com, by searching that, client lands on this page. So you also have to provide this page to client, which means you have to work both in front end and back end. Front end means what client is seeing, and back end means how you are going to extract that data and send the response back, whatever it is, to the client. So your server is responsible to show this page to the client when some client is searching through their web browser abc.com. Someone searches abc.com, request goes to your server, and server have to respond this page to the client. So your server is responsible to have HTML page which is going to get reflected to the client side. We are not going to deep dive in HTML, but you have to know that HTML is responsible to create representation pages like this that is going to get shown on client side. If you go and inspect here, you can see that this is HTML file. Even if you go on Google, you can see that this is the same thing as our one is, but our one is much simpler and this one is more beautified, you can say. And this is also HTML file. If you inspect it, you can see that this is HTML and our one is also HTML. So in our server, we have to work on both front end, which is going to be HTML, and back end, from where we are going to extract this data. So before extracting the data that is coming from client side, let's develop the HTML front end so that whenever client is going on abc.com, they will be shown with this kind of fields to send the data. Because of course, when someone is sending the data, clients when going to send the data, they are going to extract the data. So let's develop a HTML first.